Well, I see you guys around at shows because I did 26 shows last year, but
Oh my God! Why?
no, it was good. But I've had enough of that travel. So there's probably too many shows. There's a show in every city now, and every
Oh yeah.
yeah. I don't need to go to again.
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
And welcome to the Inkpulp podcast. How was that one, Eric? That was simple and easy and
Yeah. You got all the
work.
dumb out of the way earlier, so we're doing the normal version, the human version. Welcome to episode 3000. Is it episode 3000? It feels like episode
300,
3000.
but feels like 3,000.
Yeah. Shawn, thank you for always letting us on and hang out with you on this amazing podcast with its gazillion viewership. I don't know how you made time because you're so dang awesome and busy and successful. Less about you, more about our guest,
No,
Mr. Ben Templesmith. Thank you, man. Thank you for joining us. Really
Thanks
appreciate
for joining
it.
us, Ben.
Sorry, I had to reschedule.
Thanks for hanging out. No, that's
not a
okay.
problem.
Yeah.
You know,
Not
what's
a problem,
amazing is that
man.
you can do that. Typically, I try to reschedule every freaking week, but they were like, no, dude, that's not how this works. You know?
So are we doing this at 10 a.m. because you guys are old or because you're on weird different time zones?
Weird different time
Both things,
zones.
Both.
I would
Wait.
say. Both things.
Yeah.
Because there's the older we
Yeah, I
get,
mean, both can be
the earlier
true.
we get up. And 10 a.m. is
Yeah.
not good for me, but that's fine. I'm doing it.
What time do you
man.
usually wake up, Ben?
11.
Oh,
Right
my
now,
God.
Holy shit.
I potter
Dude, I
about
get up at
until-
5.
Well, if I'm healthy and not on, yeah, I will. I can wake up earlier, but right now I'm on a deadline thing, so my nights progress.
Speaking of,
I get all my best
What's
work done
the-
late at night.
what's the
Okay.
deadline, man? You are currently working on.
Working on an issue of Department of Truth for
Yeah, boy.
yeah.
And how many issues deep is the book on so far? And how's the reception been?
I think I'm doing issue 36. I don't know. It hasn't come out
What?
yet, so none of it. I've got 3 issues to do. So
Okay, I was gonna say like you've done 36 issues already. Get the heck out of here.
no, I'm only no, I'm filling in for the amazing Martin Simmons.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Very
everybody's looking
talented
forward to
man
that.
Who actually paints his work, much unlike me.
Okay, we got the top 10 minutes out of the way. Let's just hang out. Can we just scratch each other's
Yeah.
balls? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
It is a gangbang. I said it was a gangbang. It is a gangbang.
And not only a gangbang, it's an international gangbang because you have an Australian, an Italian, and a Jew, and a Filipino.
Yeah, but only Americans are known for their porn. I don't know anything
Here's
about
the
Italian
thing.
porn or Australian porn.
I know
I
that
just-
Moana was
we
the
just
big
learned
porn
that.
star
Oh, yeah.
from Italy. We just learned that on the
Yeah, it was-
We
podcast.
just
it was
learned
really
that a
fun.
couple interviews
Like-
ago that they were not allowed to use the word Moana in Italy
Yeah.
because it is associated to a very well known, very well celebrated, very well spermed on porn star.
Yeah.
We're not allowed
Yeah,
to do
so
that anymore.
Moana is
She must have great
frowned
skin.
upon name.
It's a
Was that
what? Say
sorry?
again, Matty?
Sorry, I interrupted.
No worries. Say again.
No, we
got me with
we
the
interrupted you. You said
You
something
got
about
me with the
Moana.
jizz.
I had to go to the
That's our
skincare.
next T-shirt, by the way. You got me with the jizz.
But yeah, it's a very frowned upon name in Italy. And it was funny. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and it's funny because in that same era, the infamous Rocco was working. Although you can still see people naming their kids Rocco to this day. So
Right.
it's not a problem with
I remember
when it's
Rocco.
a male.
I know Rocco
Yeah.
because back in the day,
He's pretty unforgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So during those years, there was also this beautiful actress called Moana Pozzi, who's the top, like the all-star of porn stars in Italy. But since her happened in the industry, like you can't call anyone Moana anymore because it reminds immediately of that. It's weird. It's their Adolf. It's our Adolf like transferred in Italy. You cannot.
So are
even
you saying
mention
that
name.
doing porn is equivalent to someone who is trying to commit genocide?
No, but the effect is the same because it's a name that disappeared from our culture, basically. So much so
gotcha.
that even, a cartoon can be titled Moana. So they had to change. So it's called Oceania, the movie. And the main character is called Vaiana. So they had to change the whole thing because of this one porn star, this amazing creature that lived back then. She died.
Because when the parents take
Also
the kids
who
to the
has
movie,
like oceanic superpowers, Ben, like you said this before we went live. You said, hey man, I apologize for rescheduling. I'm listening to this conversation.
that was my fault.
And I think maybe you could have scheduled 20 or 30 more times, before you had come on.
You didn't have to
we
come
said
on.
we said this to the director of Moana too. I said, like, do you know what this show is all about, B? And do you know that you are in so much shit right now? Like we if you think your career is on a decent trajectory,
No,
it's on its way out. Okay, I'm just making sure
I've
you
been
know what you're getting
flatlining for
into.
years. It's fine.
Yeah.
And on my
That's
other
what this
podcast,
is
we
called,
talk about
actually.
toilets mostly. So
Yeah, that's
body
what I'm about
functions,
to
so
say.
fine.
Like you, Eric, you might not be familiar with the Squidcast yet, but Ben does more or less what we do. It's very conversational podcast,
Okay, good.
and sometimes
It's
he ends up not even talking about work. Am I right?
we talk about everything, but it's mostly what you would talk about at a bar after a con.
Yeah.
Which is nothing, excluding stuff that's defamatory, mostly.
Right.
Because you might get fired. If you bitch about
No, we
editors
step
and-
into that all the time. That's
Oh,
interesting.
We go into the defamatory zone all the time.
we made this podcast because Shawn made this podcast because he had a lot of mental issues and he wanted to talk through it with us. He really had a lot of, like, it was like going to see a therapist was so expensive. He was like, I'm just going to
it's so
unload
much
this on my
cheaper.
friends, So let's all get together at some odd time of day and let me talk about my hurt feelings or my past scars. That's why this podcast was made, and we
In
just happened to
Australia,
be
that's
like,
what you do. You don't. Well, in the old days, you didn't talk.
Yeah.
In the old days. Now I'm old. Shit.
Yeah.
You talk to
Yeah, yeah,
friends, not a therapist. You don't have to pay someone to talk. That's what a good friend is for.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
we're
old
not any of
fashioned,
those.
that's all.
So we're neither therapists nor good friends, but Shawn just wrangled us in anyway. My point is,
Sean, how does that make you feel?
we don't make we don't make him feel
I
anything.
know the truth.
Can he feel anything?
No, I'm dead inside.
What was the thing that made you start the podcast, Ben? What was motivation there?
I did a podcast interview for a guy named Tim, and Tim ran a podcast because he has like a network that he puts up, so he has a podcast a day virtually with a bunch of different. And he said, "Yeah, if you want to do one, I'll handle the back end and edit and everything." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that. I'll just ramble to people." So.
It was
And
that
that's how
simple.
that started, and I just do one. Now he's given me the keys to the castle, so I can record one whenever I want. I've just been busy, so I need to get back onto that. So
Yeah.
it's just a.
So your schedule is pretty much more free. Like you do it when you feel like and you have time.
Yeah, and ideally you have them teed up to go. So he likes them going long, so I have like 2 or 3 part ones. So, but I need to get back onto that. There's been, I think I've done like 8. I'm a baby.
Yeah. What's the overall sentiment on your end? Does it feel good?
Feels it's just fun catching up with friends mostly. They're all usually friends. So
Yeah.
and I like the more dynamic when it's just me and the person, and I'm usually having a whiskey. So this is another reason why 10 a.m. doesn't work. It's good. It's fine. I'm not going to day drink. I have a deadline. I can't do that. But
Well, to be fair, we've been drinking leading into this. We just took a quick nap. So maybe we should have given you that heads up.
apparently we got a sponsor. I haven't seen, I don't know if it ever worked out because I don't have any money from it, but we got a sponsorship from a casino. And I'm like, what do I have to do? Do I have to say, come down to not the Mohican Sun or whatever, come down to Bob's Casino because you get a win or some shit. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that because I had a cousin who was a gambling addict, and I'm like, I don't think I should endorse gambling. Everyone else does now. So.
We have a sponsor eventually called Better Health, the mental health, eventually. And I say that because I'm going to go pitch to them in regards to, Shawn's mental instability, to be like, you don't want to be like Shawn.
Yeah.
You don't be anything like this guy.
Shawn is a perfect example of mental health.
Please, without better health, you can be like this guy,
He looks beautiful. You'd never guess he's hollow inside.
Yeah, it's beautiful outside, but inside it's a mess.
Yeah. Sorry, Shawn.
Just a rotten
all the
tomato.
work goes here. All the
They're
work
making
goes
it very easy to razz you for no apparent reason.
That's oftentimes I feel bad sometimes. There's one where we were bombing on him so hard, Matteo felt like he needed to step in. And to be fair, Matteo was stepping in as he was punching Shawn in the gut. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, are we punching him too much?
That's what a good
guys.
friend does.
Less
friend
punchy.
puts him down and then builds him up. And then
wait a minute. So you're saying you're not up until 11 a.m. because of your current deadlines. You're productive in the evening.
Yeah, I'd probably finish up around 3 or 4. So
oh my God, I'm sleepy just you saying it out loud.
I don't start work until 1. So usually,
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're not up until 11, it probably takes you a couple hours to just get the engine revved up and eventually to the drafting table. No.
Yeah. If I don't have things to do and schedules to keep, then I'd probably go back to a very early morning person. But get up at 6 like a person who's my age. I don't like it, but it still feels good. So, actually, in winter, it's very cold in the morning. So I'll just get up in the middle of the day. It's fine.
Yeah. You're finding yourself a bit more productive during the evenings? Yes. Is that sort of like?
Yeah, because I know no one else is usually going to bother me. But it's hard to get revved up sometimes. I'm getting back on the horse. I haven't done a regular comic for quite a while. I'm normally doing things at my place. So it's
I think everybody on the panel is on a different schedule. Maddie, your most productive time is when?
Oh, the morning. Absolutely. Like I wake up at 6 and I start working right away. But also, we got to say, I mean, I have a kid and everything, so I got to make it work. Otherwise, if I start working in the evening, like basically I would have zero time with my kid and my girlfriend, basically, because that's the only time where we can see each other. And but I love it. Like I started working earlier when I had my first like real girlfriend, and she had a normal office hours. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had to do it in order to get to see her. And then I just adapted to it, and it works fine with me. But and I'm also taking weekends off, so I'm actually my schedule is really similar to a standard like worker one.
How dare you be professional?
It's an office job. Yeah, similar for you too, right, Shawn? You're up. Like I remember texting you some ridiculous hour from my end, and you respond, and I do the math of where you are time zone wise. You're up super early. Your time.
I get up at 5, get my workout in, and then get to the
microphone closer to your mouth, friend. I can't.
Sorry.
There you go. I
get up at 5. And I get my workout in, and then I get started. I like to work when the sun's up. When the sun's down, I'm done. Like that's not good time for me to be working.
What happens? You just go on the prowl. You get like super horny and start looking for holes to put your PP in.
Yeah, that's when I got to go prowl. Exactly.
I just feel like the day gets away from me at 11 o'clock. I get antsy. There's something that happens. Like if I'm not sitting behind the desk by a particular time, it's got this. Have you guys heard about, oh gosh, I can't remember who was cutting their track, but it was somebody that was working directly with Eminem, who, as successful as that crazy person is, but like he goes in at 9 and he quits it. He treats it like a job. He's in at 9 a.m. And
I've heard this.
Sometimes inspiration hits you at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And I can't remember who this artist was that was working with him. It was like he goes out to dinner, or he goes out for like a late lunch or whatever, and he comes back and is like, okay, let's cut this track. Where's M? And he's like, oh, it's 5:30. He's already taken off. And And he's like, what? Like most people that he knows works through the night. Creatives get that juice in the evening, but he cuts out at, what do you call it? And I think it's for the same reason that Maddie's talking about, which is he didn't want to spend time in the studio taking him away from his kid, from raising his daughter or whatever, which makes total sense. But I understand when inspiration hits you is when inspiration hits you. And it sounds like, Ben, it just kind of late nights is when the muse shows up to your place and goes like, let's get work done.
Yeah, I've always been a late night guy with the work. So
yeah,
but the older you get, if I wasn't under the gun right now, I would probably be more of an early. I still wouldn't start work until later, but I would be an early morning person.
You're sure? What could convince you to start working at like crazy Shawn hours at like 5 a.m.?
Nothing. I'd wake up
Copious
then maybe.
amounts.
I'm not starting work until 9 at least.
It's not a foreign thing for us because that's the time that we're getting up. But sometimes when we say it to our audience, they're like, what the hell? Who's up at 5 a.m.? You know what I mean? And I'm like, I think we are. So are we the outliers? Is that
what? Up at 5 a.m.?
Oh, we're the outliers.
Are we?
Yeah, unless you've got little kids. I mean, you have little kids, but you'd be up anyway. Yeah, most people I know think I'm a psychopath.
Yeah, because you don't have little kids. We got rid of them a long time ago.
By the way, Ben, I know that on the Squidcast you have a very specific question that you ask to everybody.
Do you have an Italian answer for me?
Yeah. So do you have the question is, so question? Please ask this question first.
Do you own a plunger?
Do you own a plunger?
Or are you from by the way, advanced world?
Yeah. So basically so just to make sure, the plunger is the thing that when the toilet gets stuffed, you use to.
Well, when a drain, any drain gets clogged and stuff like that. It like unclogs things.
It can happen in my case.
After a really big
It does happen in your case. We just talking about big shit you take.
Because my shits are huge and really, really hard most of the time. So I own it just in case. But lately,
you need to change
what I had to use in a couple occasions, and that's when Eric left the show.
Is he not a scat player? I'm sorry.
What I had to use was just go outside. I have a front yard and grab a stick in order to break the stuff.
What?
Because it got stuck. Because so in Italy, the tube, the conduct that the shit goes on, it's not that large, and my shit sometimes got stuck diagonally here. So the angle that's like this, and the shit got stuck here. So I had to break it down in order to make it go down. And when I was a kid, when I was younger. Now I'm vegetarian, so the situation got better. But when I was younger, I used to take shits once every 4 days. And the things that I did were like, they were not human. So they were like this large and this long. So there's no way they could go down. So we had, I remember in the balcony, we had a metal stick that my parents had to use from time to time because stuff would get stuck in there.
Why didn't you just have a plunger?
Well, because the plunger, you gotta, there's water and stuff, and you just put this thing, you break it down, and you flush, and
you were the
down.
first person to answer that question. No, I don't have a plunger, but I still clog my toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an alternative, but to be fair, it's not. I'm not the norm. Like another Italian would tell you differently.
Dude, Eric is so fed up right now.
I didn't bring this up. He did. Does he often talk about this sort of stuff?
Oh, we talk about whatever.
You see,
but
you seem very enthusiastic about it, man.
Well, Ben doesn't know about poop talk, I guess.
I'm we used to have.
I don't have kids,
originally. Yeah,
not that I know.
Originally, on the Inkpulp podcast, we had a segment called the poop talk, when I would.
You guys are old school with this, then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about your kids, and then Matteo shits.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ben, do you own a plunger?
I do, just in case.
Yeah.
But I've learned speed control, because you can't just let loose. You got to like be judicious in your. Nope, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Yeah. Because in Australia,
by the way,
you can just go to town and nothing goes wrong. But
are you
the hard way in America? You can't do that.
Yeah, I'm Eric. Go ahead.
So
TMI.
I have a more important question.
We are way
is the anatomy of toilets different in Australia? What does
I know
create
it
this
is from
effect?
Australia to America, and that's why I ask other international people like what their toilets are like, because I've never it's only recently that I noticed that different toilets are different. Well, I first noticed it in Germany because the Germans have a shelf because they like to inspect things to see if it's healthy. And now that I'm older, occasionally I just, is that healthy? And I've looked up the kinds of turds and like which is a good one, which is the bad ones, and like what's going on. So I can see that. But we don't have as big a bowl. If this wants to get technical, it's about the same size, but it's much higher with a longer drop. So and a much smaller, a smaller hole. No. Yeah. A larger hole, but so there's less water in the bowl.
Yeah,
it's a longer way to drop. But then it's an actual flush because the water comes over the rim, underneath the rim, sort of thing, and flushes everything.
Exactly. That's that.
Because in America it only gurgles, and I realized you've probably heard this then, but Americans are obsessed with telling me, asking me, it's like, does the water go down spiral the different way?
Oh yeah, the spiral thing. Yeah,
I'm like, who the fuck is sitting there looking at the spiral? And it's like, and it dawned on me, it's like, oh, their toilets are different. They're looking at what goes, because ours just flush, and it's just a big cacophony, and it's away. In America, it gurgles and it just sucks it, and it's just like, and then it goes. Yeah. So I don't know what Italian ones are like, but
no, Italian ones are the same as you. Like, not a lot of water.
Yeah, efficient.
More time for the fall.
And then
flush comes from upstairs.
And you are the one man in Italy that can clock that. But
yeah, I'm able to clock that. Yeah, but again, I'm a rarity. Like when I say that my stuff gets stuck in there, people are weirded out. But then I show them pictures of my shits, like I did often with Shawn. And they understand why.
Think the wrong person needs the therapy. I used to think Americans were very homophobic because of their toilets. Well, American.
What?
Because it's a longer drop. So the major differences between Australian and American toilets, or maybe their users, male users at least, is if it's got a longer drop and you do something, there's a risk of splashback. So if it's a
the
wide, shallow bowl,
as I call it,
if there's less distance, it's like you're not going to get a little drop. But there is a risk in the bigger, taller ones in the rest of the advanced world that don't clog, that if it drops a certain way, there's a little bit of water that will go right back up the butthole, and that will scare the life out of American homophobic men. So I don't know if that's the case, but I'm trying to explain it because it's not about water efficiency. Because in Australia we all have water efficient toilets, so we have the dual flush and all of that stuff. So many people give me excuses, and it's technology no one thinks about until you talk about Japan and their robots with their robot toilets. So, which I've not used.
And by the way, I have a bone to pick with Americans as well regarding toilets, because they improperly call the Japanese ones bidets. But they're not bidets. The bidet is a separate thing. Was that?
They call them, but I haven't heard that. And I live here, but I honestly haven't heard them call it. But I know I also know what a bidet is because.
Well, they say that they take a bidet when they have the Japanese thing, the flush system, which is not a bidet, and they speak about it like if it's an accurate way to wash your ass, and it's not. It just sprays water up your ass, but you need the ends and you need to brush it up in order to have a clean asshole after. And instead they call it a bidet, which is not. A bidet is a separate thing. When after taking a shit, you wipe, you sit over it, and then you wash it accurately with soap and everything. And that's the way. And that's how you wash your assholes.
I have to tell you, Steph and I were talking about this the other night, and she didn't know you were supposed to use soap. I was like, what? Like, you gotta get it gets all clean. You gotta get up in there. And she was like, the whole time in Italy, she did not know that.
Also, having soap on your hand, like abundant amount of soap in your head, even though you wiped before getting a bidet, but it gives you this fake perception of there's still something between my dirty asshole and my hand. So there's a layer of soap. So when you wash, at least you don't feel like you have a direct contact with the dirty asshole. So there's the other thing. So you have to use soap.
After you do that, where do your wet soapy hand, what happens then?
There's a towel.
Well, there's a towel for the ass. We have a small towel right next to it.
And you use that again and again. This is my dirty
but the asshole is...
And I'm just doing... Wow.
No, because there's no... Ben, here's what happens.
I'm left-handed, man, so we get told my dominant hand is the dirty hand, and I understand why.
Okay. I'm giving you, this is the philosophy behind it, okay?
Dude, Eric, are you okay?
Try to think. I want to get to the bottom of this thing.
Like, oh, God.
I want to get to the bottom of this thing, okay?
Checked out as soon as you guys were like, let's talk more about bidets. I
want to get to the bottom of this thing, Ben. We'll get it together. So
you really want
so
the
try to think
bidet company.
As your ass as a dirty end, not a dirty ass. Whatever this is, even if there's a small amount of shit on this end, okay? So what you do, you go to the sink. You grab soap with this hand and you just start, washing them one against the other. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you do it enough so that this hand is now clean and this hand is still clean because they cleaned each other with the soap. There's a lot of foam involved in the process and now the ass is clean. So this hand is not dirty. There's no shit in here,
Was there water?
Does it make
involved?
sense?
Was it washed, or did you just put some soap on a shitty hand?
No, soap and water.
Okay,
soap and water. You keep doing it.
Okay.
Until the soap is gone, everything is clean. This hand and this hand, and you just grab the how do you call it
Someone's gonna have to show me
towel.
The towel.
I need some instructions.
The towel, and then you.
Ben is like, somebody's going to have to show me this. And I'm cutting forward into time.
So what's your next show, Ben? I'll be happy to show you.
Shawn are just in a room. Okay, look. See how my hand has shit all over it right now? Okay, you put shit on your hand. So we'll be the same.
No, because... But there's running water, so the shit is not going to be here. It's going to be...
Your hands
so there's water...
To the bathroom.
Dude, this show has gone so off the rails.
Was that sorry?
You can talk for 3 hours about this on mine. You're welcome to, Matteo, if you'd like.
I think Ben wants you to come on the Squidcast to explain the entire process of using a bidet and washing your asshole with your hand.
Can you imagine the surprise for Ben when we couldn't act? We started recording and we're not here in my studio, but we're in my bathroom.
That would be a legendary. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the principle behind it. So the ends are not dirty. You use the towel, and everything's fine. We've been doing it for centuries.
Yeah.
How the fuck did we get here, man?
I was just going to ask you, how do we pull back out of this into it?
No, just lean it. Just lean in.
The train is off the rails.
What do you call it? I am so stun locked right now. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I lost track of how the fuck we ended up here. Matteo asked Ben a specific question that he typically asks on his podcast, and somewhere in there's like a perpendicular shit that won't break down. There's a swirling of water. There's a bigger, taller drop in Australia, and my brain was like, eject, fucking eject actually, right now.
I think I see what's happening, Eric. I think I see what's happening.
Yeah.
Tim asked Ben to reach out to us to come on the show.
Yeah.
So that he could completely derail our podcast entirely, get us canceled so that he can have more I'll push
back on that. There's plenty of times where we could got canceled for everything else. I can list it in my head how we should get canceled for a lot of different things. Very few of it is on my shoulders. A lot of it is on Maddie's shoulders. If the poop shit talk is the thing that's going to get us into trouble, man, we're invincible at this point. You know what I mean? Like, we are freaking bulletproof because
I don't think anyone can get canceled anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that moment is gone.
The only way you can get cancelled now is pretty much by hanging out with pedophiles. And that's
well, we do that too.
Well,
so you're done. You are done.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you are on the specific day where we shoot pedophile videos. So yeah, you're on the pedocast.
So now Eric's going to take us into a really dark place. I mean, the shit talk was light compared to where Eric's going now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's a line of kids behind Eric.
Yeah.
So the way I do it, Ben. Okay.
Yeah. Man, there's no shit in my hand when I take advantage of these kids.
At least you have clean hands when you handle the children.
Yeah, it's the cleanest. Anyway, I was wondering how we got here. Wait, Shawn, you brought up an interesting fact. You said this guy is being brought on to somebody has asked Ben, the guy has asked Ben, say, hey, come and hang out.
What happened was, sorry to interrupt, Eric.
Yeah, you guys know Tim then. You know Tim.
Yeah, no. What happened was that I went on Tim's one of Tim's podcasts.
Yeah,
and then he told me that Ben was doing a podcast with them. So I immediately went and watched it, and it's an amazing podcast. I loved it, especially because it has this kind of vibe, which is not like let's talk about work with which kind of pencil we use or blah blah blah. Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, yeah. Sometimes you go there, like you had a very interesting conversation with our friend Mike Choi, a 3-part conversation about the industry and all that stuff. And by the way, we should have Mike too on. He's amazing.
He has a lot to say.
And yeah, and
Mike's
so I watched
a big fan of the show too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of this kind of vibe of just friends hanging out. And as you said, Ben, you have the same like us. This podcast started as a chance to talk to each other since we didn't have a chance to see each other a lot at shows because of family stuff and all that stuff. And you can feel that kind of vibe. So I immediately, started vibing with that show. So that's why I was like, yeah, let's have a Ben on. Yeah. It should be a great conversation. And the toilet conversation proved that.
Yeah, you can have all your later.
Eric's going to push back.
Well, I see you guys around at shows because I did 26 shows last year, but
oh my God, why?
And never again. But
was there a reason?
I say more than 2 words to a lot of people, so this is nice. I've never really had a chat with most of you guys properly.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
I've admired all your work.
Thanks, man. But yeah, most of the time it was just say hello, and then we're super busy at the show itself, so we don't have the chance to.
That's why Heroes Con is the one exception of that. You do tend to hang out with a lot more people at Heroes Con because it's like it's the one we all go to, and there is a bar, a good bar. Well, there was,
but Ben, was there a reason you did 26 shows? Was that your main source of income last year?
I didn't like where I lived last year, so anywhere. Any chance to not be there was pretty good. but also I had a contract for 13 shows with one company. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll do that. So,
okay.
Shit.
Some of the shows were like, why am I here? It's kind of a very small, quiet shows. But no, so it was good. But I've had enough of that travel. So I have high status on my airline now. So I'm good to go. There's probably too many shows. There's a show in every city now, and every.
Oh yeah.
Not even a city. Just fucking. Yeah, I don't need to go to Oklahoma again. Sorry, Oklahoma. I've been there like 3 times now. It's like, no, I don't need. No, Oklahoma, you're fine. Some cities have 2 cons because I know Portland does. So. One of them is pretty good, and one of them's different.
I haven't.
And we're not going to say which one.
I haven't gone to either consistently. It's technically supposed to be in my backyard. It's all of a 20-minute drive from here, but it's rare that I did. I can't remember the last time. And primarily I went because our art dealer was there, right? Our art rep was there, and my kids had never gone to a show before. So that was interesting to bring them on and to have them just kind of experience a convention. But I think between that and the fact that, if I'm there, I'm working. So it was on the shoulders of my wife to walk them around and wrangle two kids. That was enough for her. So she's never going back. That's not a testament to the show. It's got a lot more to do with like time spent. And I can't remember when the last time was where I was really amped for a quote unquote show. I was amped for the company, if that makes any sense. So this goes back to what you were talking about, which is like, it used to be that I was, Maddie, you can talk to this, right? Like we'd go there and it was business. And I don't know if it's similar for you guys. Like when we go to a show, everything is about being at work. I remember Dustin Wen saying this: if I'm not at my desk, this has to be work for me. Like I'm not there to hang out. And that's an interesting perspective to take, because obviously if he's not drawing, not to say that he's, it's all about money, but obviously work is work. You got to find a way to subsidize your income if you're away from your table. But for me, it was always like hanging out, right? And then it switched because I was like, shoot, I need to be, at the very least, have expenses in mind. This just can't be time away from home and just whatever. And then I switched back because it's going to shows became labor and it wasn't fun. So it started to be more about like preparing for that show, getting as much work I could get done before I ended up there so that I could sort of hang out with Shawn and Matteo. And whenever there's a case of, I remember, where were we, Ben, where I spent a considerable amount of time just kind of like looming around your booth. I remember it was you, and 2 aisles over was Scotty Young. And I just hung out. I didn't walk around all that much. You know
were
what I mean?
There kids at your table, Ben? That's why Eric was.
I do get
the pedo episode. Yeah. No, there were no kids. I brought them with me.
Off anyone, and it was at a Portland show. So you were working with me many years ago. I got you to do it. Sexy Nazi ladies.
Oh, sure. I remember that one.
You did really good because the uniform, and that was back a long time ago. So
yeah, that was when that was okay to do. I mean, now it's like between Nazis and pedos. I think you're not gonna. This is the perfect show to be on. No, but my point is,
like uniforms has never not been kind of sexy, but like wrong at the same time. To people.
No, my point is
like Korean ladies too. It's like it's great.
When we hung out, I'm trying to bring this back to like. There's a couple of rails that we jumped over.
I don't remember when it was when you were hanging out with all the kids at my booth. So.
Because Shawn made a big deal about saying like 26 shows, man. And I thought like that sounds freaking exhausting unless you're just hanging out. Unless you're just like, I don't want to be in my city. There's more interesting people when I travel to these other cities. And I thought I think that's how I could manage that emotionally.
I have a core group of friends that we all hang out at a show because we happen to be at a lot of the shows. But we work during the day, but if it's a quiet show, there's nothing to do but hang out a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, and then we have good dinners and drinks. So it was nice what we do. So. But now I live somewhere I like. I don't need to leave as much. And the airport's a longer way away. So, yeah.
That feels so good.
I will do less. But I'm really looking forward to Heroes Con this year at least. That one that's probably the one show I definitely look forward to. And that's because of seeing everyone that I've missed. So.
Yeah, there's
and it's really good for work too. I do work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Matt?
There's a couple of shows that are, using that kind of formula that, Heroes has, very, artistic centric. So I think we're going to see more of those kind of shows over the next years because, now you have Como. I don't know if you did that show, the Lake Como one.
One day. When I can leave the country legally, I will.
Oh, okay.
When I'm not worried about coming back in. I'm landlocked.
And the other one is OAX in Orlando, which is going to be like in 10 days, 9 days from now.
Are you all going to that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all going. Yeah,
Lucky.
absolutely.
I did the first one when everyone was iffy about it, and then everyone was, I really want to go the next time. So now I'm not going.
I've done all of them. I did the first, second, and I'll do the third. I've done all of them so far.
He's promised me I get to go.
Was what do you call it? The energy the same that first one, Shawn, or was it like what Ben is talking about?
I love the first one. The first one. I love the first show. It was small but really comfortable, really easy to do, really fun, really exciting. I don't know. I left that show like I wish every show was like this.
Yeah, I remember the difference. I remember that Como show, and it felt like, and I said this before, it felt like we were like villains in a James Bond movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's
like
nothing like Como.
They brought us into a giant. What would you consider that structure, Maddie? What is that? They call it a villa. Is it a villa?
Yeah, that's
the house.
Well, not the structure where we were, but the main house. Yeah, that's a villa.
Holy.
And then they built like a small convention center in the garden of the villa.
Yeah. Ben, let me describe it to you. The villa that we got invited into, the opening ceremony, it's like being in that, James Bond, like it's like being part of Spectre, right? We're a bunch of guys who dress up. Technically, they ask you to, it's a big showing, so they ask you to dress up. There's a couple of bums, us included, where we did very, very little. Like they're like, please make sure that you are banquet appropriate or whatever the heck. Some couple of idiots showed up in like t-shirts. We are a couple of those idiots.
I have never heard that phrase.
Never heard of that? Like
not a bow tie.
Dinner jackets and like that's what made it feel like we were bad guys in a movie. There was a
Wait, did
secret
they really
handshake.
say that? Did they ask for that? Hmm? I don't know that I knew that. I mean, I didn't look like
clearly you didn't know that, Shawn, because you were like, you know what,
no,
t-shirt and shorts.
I was not in a t-shirt. I was in a collared shirt. I looked good.
How many American
I wasn't wearing a jacket.
Ever have a jacket? Like, no.
Yeah.
Well, the fashion sense of the comic industry is not. It's not what we're known for.
Well, that's what they were asking for. The few times in my life I followed the rules, never having been there before. That's the one I followed.
Yeah, why that rule?
I don't know. You know what it was? I was traveling with my wife, and she wanted to dress up, so I was part of the. Okay, honey, I won't look like a schlub next to you. I'll be a good.
I mean, it was an exquisite party.
Yeah,
it was very high class.
Yeah.
I really want to go to Lake Como because I know because I like history, and I know somewhere around there that's where Benito Mussolini got.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I want to go to that place. I think I can't remember if it's where he was killed or where they strung him up with piano wire or whatever it was at the end.
I think you're mentioning the one where he was killed. Yeah.
So it's I want to go there, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's no. It's not. I mean, it's still a place where people go, like in Italy as well. So yeah.
Wait, it's a tourist stop? Like there's a statue dedicated to it where he's strung up with a piano wire and.
Well, for sure, there's something there. It's our like the main thing that happened in Italy, like over the past century. So yeah.
Well, one of his grandkids is a politician now too, right? So it's not. I don't know what their opinion on Mussolini was, but.
Well, yeah. Her his granddaughter. She's been in politics over the past like 25 years now.
How do you break the ice on that one? Guys, I'd like to run. Ignore what my grandpa did. It's like, I didn't know Hitler had grandkids. It's like,
have you seen this plaque in Como? That's where my grandpa.
Well, actually, now the party, the political party that is ruling now in Italy, like our prime minister used to be MSI, which was basically the fascist party. Being a fascist became a crime, so all the fascists build up a new party called MSI, and basically she was one of them. So she's notoriously an ex-fascist. I mean, she still she just had to change name to it. But
what does MSI stand for, Matty?
Was that?
What is MSI?
What's the English
Italian social movement?
Oh, okay.
Isn't every political party a social movement?
Oh, socialists, Italian socialist movement.
Don't act like you don't know, you freaking fascists. Don't.
So I like Como is beautiful, and I read up on it. I'm like, oh, there's a com there. It's like, and then it just the little tidbit is like, and Mussolini. So like, holy shit, yeah, I need to go there. Nearly got to go to Auschwitz once because of a festival in Poland, but that never panned out. But I like history too much, so I go anywhere that they'll invite me that's got interesting stuff. So not because I'm a fan or not a fan of the other stuff.
Yeah, sure. But so where the 20? You just said you're talking about the 26 shows you did last year.
Yeah,
were they all in the States or you moved around? You went.
I'm not leaving the country.
Oh yeah. Oh,
just
sorry.
in case I can't get back in for a while. So I'm gonna tamp down on that. Yeah, because I don't want to delete my social media just to get back in potentially. So
yeah,
I'm eligible to be a citizen. I should probably end up doing that, but they changed the rules on that slightly too. So it's like, I'm just.
I was going to say, hasn't enough time passed in which your citizenship not necessarily is guaranteed, but it's more open to you having been in the country this long, no? You've never left for an extended amount of time.
Once you're over a certain period on your green card, it's like, you can become a citizen now if you want. But they changed the rules recently, so it's like you have to, instead of saying, do you have a criminal record? No? Okay, you can be a citizen then because you've fit every other criteria. Now they said, hey, what have you done for us? Tell us about your acts of your goodness for the community. What have you done for it? I'm like,
sure.
I don't know. I sit home and work. So I've got to go and community service and volunteering and all sorts of stuff.
No way. That's crazy.
Apparently that's the thing. But it is up to every individual agent or whatever when they look at the thing for the application, really. So who knows?
Yeah.
But I have until 2030, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I'm just not going to leave the country and have to come back. Well, it's
well, Ben, you just added another good thing you did for the country, but being here with us on the Inkpulp podcast.
Oh boy!
Exactly. This
is
definitely community service.
Do not cite this. Do not cite this appearance because they're going to look at this podcast and they're like, those guys. You know, the black adjacent pedo, we're not going to let you into this place.
You're trying so hard to get cancelled and you hit the one thing that, like, wow. My hat's off to you, my friend. That takes guts.
Does anybody take us seriously, Shawn? Anyone?
Oh, God, I hope not.
Yeah. Some people do, and I've run into them. You know what I mean? Like, I run into them a handful of shows. You guys shouldn't be talking that way or that. How can you make a joke out of that? You know? And I was like, it's a joke, right? Like you understand that we don't really take when like there's a couple of times somebody bore down on the fact that Maddie makes fun of the fact that it's Shawn's a Jew, and I thought like,
wait, someone
Jewish?
Oh yeah. Shawn, like look, if he pans the camera over, there's a menorah in the background. Right. So like there's a couple of people that's brought that up, and I'm all like, at the expense of whom? Oftentimes they make the circle big enough that they say that it's harmful for everybody that's outside of Shawn. And I thought like, what a weird world you live in. That clearly just based on the three of us, and we're clearly aware of what's happening outside our door. But when it comes to like the three of us hanging out, did it offend Shawn? Was there a line that got crossed with Shawn upon that joke? Because that was exclusive to him. Shawn, Matteo has never said like everyone who is like Shawn blah, 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 blah. It's always been Shawn. It's a weird space that we live in which everybody gets sort of like offended on Shawn's behalf. And I'm like, don't, because Shawn doesn't know any better. Maybe that's why they're offended.
You know what it really is, though, I think? It's like there's a lot of people questing to be good people because...
Say that again, Ben. Say that again.
A lot of them are questing to be good people, thinking that they're good people. So they have to do those things to say, I'm good. And that's bad. So look at me, I'm good. I guess that's signaling, but they don't have a sense of humor. So, and there's always everything's in context. So it's like sometimes it's not good to make a pedo joke, and sometimes among friends, maybe you can.
Yeah.
I'm not going there with that one. So.
Yeah. I saw this little clip of Theo Vaughn of somebody asking him if he's a racist, right? And he goes, no, of course not. But sometimes in the car, I get a flare up. And that made me laugh. He's like, sometimes when I'm driving, I have a flare up. And that makes me laugh because I know the context.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the idea behind that, and I know the joke, right? And I know that it is a joke. And I stop at that particular water's edge. But I think there's some people who are clearly going like they expand it beyond that concept. That I'm like, why do you do that to yourself? And I think it goes to what you're saying, which is like there's a level of virtue that they're willing to signal to say, I'm so much better than you. I'm so much better than that. What that will allow for.
And people are being conditioned to think that's the way it is too. They see everyone else doing it, then they're thinking, that's what I have to do as well.
Sure.
Well, and there's also this thing that is like there's the equation for which now if something makes me feel a certain way and I don't like that feeling, instead of dealing with the feeling, I judge that thing as wrong. The thing that makes me feel this way becomes wrong. So it's wrong if you did that because it made me feel a certain way. Yeah. And instead, if you're an adult, you should be able to just deal with your feelings. And also you have this amazing superpower that if you're listening to a podcast and they say stuff that you don't like, you just click on to the next video and you stop following that podcast, which is
for sure
really easy. And by the way, go ahead.
I would say one of the main reasons I like doing cons is because I meet a lot of people from all walks of life and all professions and all sorts of backgrounds. And I ask them things, and I want to know what they think of things because they're if it's a woman, if it's a person of a certain color or race or whatever, a culture, it's like, I want to know what they think about something because their opinion is it's not on me to protect everyone or be offended on their behalf. I mean, I should try, but it's about what they think. And if they're not offended by something, not that I'm trying to offend them, but I want to get perspective, and I'm like, okay, there's no problem. Because there was, I remember there was some sort of university in America was holding like some sort of fundraiser thing for some society they had, and they were doing camel rides, and the camel rides got shut down because a few people said this is racist towards Arabic people or something. It's like it's a fucking camel. There was no. They weren't like
that's
linking
wild.
the two together, but like someone did, and it's like you can't do that anymore. It's like But if a group of Arab people said, "Can you please not do with this thing because it's derogatory to us?" And it's like, well, fuck yeah.
Well, also, isn't the person who said it's an issue? It's an anti-Arab thing to do this. They're the one with the racist thought.
You would think so.
Yeah.
It could be
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing that we were saying. Like, and also it's so, I don't know I don't have the term for this one, but like if I need to defend somebody on their behalf, I have a very low consideration of this person, because if I think that this person can take it, the last thing I want to do is defending them because they're able to defend themselves, so they don't need me. If I think that they need me, it means that I think they're weak, so in a way, it's and that's why, at comedy shows, sometimes there's a guy who has, I don't know, he has no legs, and he goes to a comedy show and the comedian roasts the guy with no legs. And that's wonderful because it means that I'm considering you my peer. You're on the same level. So you get the same jokes, you know? You know, otherwise, if I think that you're weak or you're a poor thing, you know, I'm not going to make jokes about that. And also another element for people that get offended by jokes, like online, like my goal, aside from the fact that I'm not a comedian, I just love joking and laughing. Yeah, so that's why I make jokes. Like the last thing I want, and I think it works with all of you guys, like if I make a joke, the last thing I want is to offend someone, you know, the only goal is to have a laugh.
For sure.
And that depends on the quality of the joke. So if it doesn't strike the right way, it means that it was just a bad joke, but I tried. But my attempt was to have fun and some levity about stuff, you know?
I agree with you. And I think I've had multiple conversations about this outside of my friend circle. Somebody actually said that. It's like, well, what if I find the joke offensive? And I'm like, then be offended. Do you know what I mean? Like, nothing says that you shouldn't go through that emotional space of you being offended and telling me I find that offensive. Okay, right? But you understand that the intent is not to offend you. Oh, intent doesn't matter. And I think that's where we get into trouble, right? Is because the intention and the context that you were talking about, Ben, that doesn't matter anymore, right? As long as it's offensive to somebody, they'd rather err on the side of caution and say, okay, intent doesn't matter. It's going to be offensive to somebody. And so we'll sidestep it. And you're like, what world are we living in now where context doesn't matter? You know, there's some things that you can pretend. We can continue to talk about like pedos all you want, and we're going to get in a lot of trouble. But the context is we're joking about it. Now, we take pedophilia like seriously? Of course we fucking do. You know, we're not advocating for it, but it's some people would argue just because you're saying the word and you're making a joke out of it and making light of it, that's really offensive. I'm all like, okay, but that's a you thing, you know?
Right.
And you make fun of the perpetrators, not the victims, is usually safe territory for most things.
For sure.
Not that we always have to bring those things up because it is a context thing. But I do vaguely write comedy. I'm not saying it's funny, but in my comics, like some of it's free. I always try to test what I can get away with. And apparently that's my cat going through a bag right now. But I used to joke that I'm trying to get canceled. Like, see what my publisher will not print. And they printed everything. So I turned the Pope into a pedophile. He was sat on the toilet masturbating to a Boy Love magazine. And I thought, well, someone will have a problem with this. Like, no one had a problem with it. And I do poop and dildo and giant everything stupid under the sun that's usually very juvenile. But
well, that was just journalism, Ben. So you're
it turns out all that was true anyway. So it does matter to me. But I think people are questing to feel better about themselves by trying to, it's very hard for me to stick up for myself, but it's much easier for me to stick up for someone else. Because it's not about me then. It's like, maybe that's the condition that's
potentially
society-wide with some of that
That's
stuff.
a good point.
They're just looking for things to, I don't know. People are complex.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in the cases that you cited, which is like, all the stuff that you put in your books, right? There is an era in which somebody goes, I don't like that, I'm offended by it, and I'm not going to deal with that anymore. To Matteo's point, you just click away from it. Right. I won't support it anymore. Maybe now in a new era of like, I want to make people aware that Ben Templesmith is writing these kinds of things and these are his publishers that allow him to write these kinds of things. Sure. There's that added level of like, how can I outwardly express that offense to me? But generally, I don't know when when people started taking on that offense on other people's behalf. Do you know what I mean? And now you're brigaded for it. Like, there's plenty of times where, we were just, privately, we were talking about some guy's conduct offline and we laugh about it and like, oh, that's so eye-rollingly stupid. Right. But then we move on. We don't feel the need to go out and say like, oh, we think this is stupid. Do you guys think this is stupid? I don't know when that started to become a fast twitch muscle for people to to exhibit publicly. You can be offended on your own, man. You know.
I think a lot of it is also this is not the future we were promised, right? Especially with AI now doing all the stuff. Whatever.
Yeah,
I am very anti-AI, but I think there's a sense of helplessness a lot of people have, and they can't go after the big stuff, so they go after the individuals and the little stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
that's
a good point.
You can't beat the system as much. Well, if you ever could, unless you have a mass movement. So, but these on the little level, like I'm offended by that because I'm offended every day by half the things society do right now with AI. It's like it's
for sure.
Right. I'm powerless in front of that, but I can go after this one guy that said one thing. So
yeah.
Not that I'm going to defend everyone saying everything, but I see a bit of that too. So I don't know.
Yeah. I see it. Good point.
Well, there's.
Did you expect to get deeper than the toilet stuff?
Well, the toilet stuff with the antipasti for this great conversation. So, but no, I just wanted to add a little something. That there's a great comedian, Doug Stanhope, that says one time he said this thing about this cancel culture and all this stuff. He was like, "There's people in this world that are killing other people." They're bombing countries. There are people stealing a lot amount of money to other people. There's all sorts of horrible stuff. God forbid I make fun of something, you know? It's like,
right. That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, comedian's job is to
and also
was that usually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think I don't think that reality matters to a lot of the people getting offended. You had Neil Gaiman kind of finally come out and speak his piece, and he sounds, adamantly innocent, and that no one cares. They still wanted him to burn at the stake. And now that courts are throwing the stuff out of the system because there's no real evidence, it doesn't matter. They're going to label him what they've decided he is,
Did courts
and
throw
there's
that
nothing
out?
to back it up.
Because it's still mostly a he said, she said, personal account.
Yeah.
So
I read something yesterday that said the court was throwing it out due to lack of evidence.
the one thing I will say about any of that, and hopefully he won't sue me, is that when the podcast thing for that initially came out, I didn't hear the podcast for a very long time, but I read the reports on the podcast, and that was like a year before the more official version of all the accusations and all that came out. And it was just before San Diego Comic-Con, the last year I went, I think, and I was having some chats to some writers. I'm like, holy shit, dude, this just dropped. And like, is this not huge? And apparently it's like, not all of the allegations per se, but the writers were pretty much like, oh yeah, it's like an open secret. I'm like, excuse, so you guys, how he is, and you guys, and these are very people who speak online about things a lot. I'm like, you never spoke about this before, so it's like,
yeah.
So it's not like it's out of character, but I can't speak to any veracity of any alleged things anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm happy to be out of that one. I went to bat for Warren Ellis. Well, I didn't go to bat for him. I just wanted things to be resolved, and his stuff is much lesser crimes than anything alleged to the other guy.
Yeah.
So,
well, according to Google, according to Google's overview, federal judges in the U.S. dismissed multiple lawsuits against the game in February 2026. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, so that's very recent. Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I saw this yesterday. Yeah. All right,
it's very hard.
We've done the first hour. We're gonna move into the Patreon portion of the podcast, where we have some questions. Oh no, there is no Patreon. But actually, this is very patriotic. What's about to happen?
Oh,
Matteo's infamous sign off. So, Matteo,
I'll make a patriotic one.
Okay.
USA!